the 49ers versus the Packers. This is also going to be a great game. All these games are going to be great.
Hope so.
The Packers beat the 49ers 30-28 in week 3. The Packers are a 6-point favorite, and Aaron Rodgers has 7 consecutive games of 2+ touchdowns with 0 interceptions, second best in NFL history. They're getting healthy. We know this matchup has history behind it because in the NFC Championship, the 49ers completely wiped the floor with the Packers. They ran all over them, 285 yards on 42 carries, 6.8 yards per rush. Now, are any of you calling an upset? And if you are, step to the plate.
I'm not.
None of you calling upsets.
I'm not.
Nope.
This is about to be a smoke show.
Do you? Are you?
No, I have the Packers in this one.
So do I.
I'll be honest. This isn't going to be a good game.
You think the Packers are going to?
I think it's going to be pretty easy. They have a revenge game 2 years ago in the NFC Championship game where they got absolutely torched on the run.
They got dominated.
That being said, they'll probably get exposed on the run as well. But I think that the Packers' offense is going to be too much for them. Aaron Rodgers is playing perfect football of late. He's thrown 4 interceptions this year. 2 of them came from week 1. He's been absolutely spotless this season. And you look at these guys that they're going to be getting back. David Bakhtiari is probably going to play.
He's expected to.
Jair Alexander has logged 2 limited practice. I do believe he's going to play. Devondre Campbell practiced in full. He's on the injury report, but he practiced in full both days. I don't have any worries about this game at all. I really don't. Though after what I saw against the Niners, against Dallas from the Niners and from Jimmy G has to be a 10 out of 10 this weekend.
He does.
And I asked that from Kyler Murray against the Rams. He needed to be a 10 out of 10. I don't even think that was
a 2 out of 10.
It wouldn't have happened. Yeah. Even if he was a 10 out of 10, it wouldn't have been a game. Now, I am asking Jimmy G to play a 10 out of 10 if he wants to beat the Green Bay Packers right now, and I don't think it's a possibility.
Look, here's where we're going to disagree. You think it's going to be a smoke out. Packers are going to scrape the Niners.
I do.
Partly because your analysis on the Niners is wrong in the Cowboys game.
In what sense?
Because you act as if they didn't totally dominate that game.
Oh, no, my analysis is spot on.
They totally dominated that game versus Dallas.
Because my analysis basically right now is Jimmy G has to be perfect, and Jimmy G was
well,
the reason why they almost
they didn't
lost.
put them away.
Jimmy G doesn't have to be perfect.
Against the Packers, he does.
He doesn't.
Against the Packers,
because
he does.
in the NFC Championship, he only threw for like 80 yards. I think less. He had like less than 10 pass attempts, and the Niners still won.
But that defense was way better than it is right now.
It's not.
Their secondary is nowhere near what it was. They don't have Sherman.
Look, the Packers, Bakhtiari, Josh Myers, they should play. Lucas, the starting offensive linemen should be Bakhtiari, Myers, Lucas Patrick, Runyon, and Billy Turner most likely. We know Jair's coming back with Za'Darius. The 49ers do lead the NFL in defensive pass interference calls. And I think the match versus Devontae Adams, I mean, he's a mismatch for anybody. I don't know how they're going to cover him at all whatsoever. But he's really the only guy the Niners have to worry about. And that defensive front is going to get after Aaron Rodgers. And I think that defensive front is, in my opinion, quite obviously a step above the Packers' offensive line. The Packers' offensive line has been middle of the pack this year. It's nothing special. I understand Bakhtiari has been out, but this is his first game in a year. Like,
I thought he played against the Lions.
No, I don't think he played.
I'm pretty sure he got some snaps.
He did? Okay,
so.
check that for me. But if he did, I mean, it's still like he's going up against Nick Bosa.
Yeah,
he's going up against some really great pass rushers in this game.
But like I've mentioned so many times before, great players in great moments step up to the plate.
Yeah.
He's not regular.
And Nick Bosa isn't regular either. He will step up to the plate.
Okay, agreed. But at worst, Bakhtiari is the second best.
And you got to worry about Eric Armstead, too. Who's going to block him?
It'll be a good game.
It is going to be a good game, but not as good as you guys think.
The Packers are 18th against the rush, allowing 115.3 yards per game. But they're 31st in yards per carry at 4.8. That's why Jimmy G doesn't have to have a perfect game.
He played 40%.
Jimmy G doesn't have to have a 10 out of 10 game for the Niners to win. He can have an 8-7 game and they can still win. I 100% believe in that because Shanahan is going to run the football. There's no doubt about it. He's familiar with LaFleur. He's familiar with Joe Barry. He's familiar with these coaches. And the Packers have not been good against the run in the past couple of weeks. Versus the Ravens, they allowed 143 rushing yards and they averaged 5.5 yards per carry with no Lamar. Versus Cleveland, allowed 200-plus yards, allowed 8.8 yards per carry. I think the Niners are better than Cleveland as a running team. The Packers have ranked 21st or lower against the run in the last 5 seasons. And that's what's held them back from making a Super Bowl run every single year. Positive signs, though. Versus the Vikings, Dalvin Cook only had 13 yards on 9 carries. But Sean Mannion did play that game. So they didn't really have to, and it was like a cold weather. I mean, Sean Mannion, he wasn't a threat. They could stack the box. I don't think you can do that against Jimmy G, especially with Debo and Ayuk out there. You just can't end Kittle. The Packers also, and this is very scary for me. You talk about coming out hot. The Packers are ranked 25th in first quarter offense this season. They get off to slow starts. And if they get off to a slow start against the Niners and they're running the ball and they're chewing clock, that's a recipe for the Packers to lose the game.
What's killing me is he's talking like he picked the Niners to win, but he already told us he picked the Packers to win. So that's what I'm understanding.
This is going to be a great game. I'm going to tell you why the Packers are going to win right now.
Okay, that's what I'm waiting for.
The Packers, I think, are different than previous years. I think LaFleur has been a better coach. I think Rodgers is not who he was in 2019. He's been better in 2020 and 2021. He's been borderline flawless. He doesn't make mistakes. I think they run the ball better now with A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. They run the ball way better. Defensively, Devondre Campbell has really been a cornerstone for them as a linebacker.
Without a doubt.
Getting Jair back is huge. Rasul Douglas has been huge. Eric Stokes has been awesome. They have a great roster. There's no doubt. And with Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary taking that next leap this season, Kenny Clark, Darius Smith coming back, that is a very good defensive front, a great defensive front. The reason why I'm picking the Packers to win is because Jimmy G has a bum shoulder. And I think Jimmy G, like I mentioned, I think he can have a 7. He can have a B- game, and the Niners can win. Unfortunately, I think he's going to have a CD game. I think he's going to have a D+ to C game.
I agree.
Because of that, I'm picking the Packers to win. But it's going to be a very close game. And if the Niners win, I will not for 1 second be shocked whatsoever.
Aren't the Packers your Super Bowl team, though?
Yes.
So why would you not be shocked?
Because the Niners can make it to Super Bowl.
Even though the Niners should have lost to Dallas.
Should have is crazy.
You got to stop
it is crazy.
saying that.
I apologize. They could have easily lost to Dallas is what I meant to say.
How could have they easily lost?
The Dallas Cowboys played their worst game of the season and lost by 6 points. They had a chance to win the game on their last drive.
Wait. Okay. You know, it's funny. What you're saying is really funny. It's actually hilarious. The reason why is because you act like Dallas's last play of the game was from the distance of where Derek Carr's last play of the game was versus the Bengals.
They were at the 40, and they got to the 25. If they would have spiked it, if they would have really ran it
Derek
perfectly.
Carr and the Raiders were in the red zone. They were within the 10-yard line.
Okay.
Dallas Cowboys had to forget about the QB draw play because you disagree with the decision. So you thought
Dallas had 2 possessions in the last 2 minutes of the game.
So you disagree with the decision. So let's cancel out the QB draw play. They should have won on a Hail Mary.
Could have.
With all the defensive backs back there.
I said should have. I meant could have. It was an honest mistake.
Come on. The Niners completely dominated the Cowboys. They dominated them.
What are you saying?
They dominated them.
I don't know if you believe that.
We had this debate 2 hours ago. I don't think we have to get into it again.
They dominated them in every single phase of the football game. 100%.
And they still almost lost.
So, Drew, what's your score prediction? You don't think it's going to be close?
No, I actually don't. I think it's going to be 28-14.
Okay. Wow. I'm on Joel's side. I do think this game will be a bit closer. I don't think it's going to be a 2-touchdown game. I don't think Jimmy G has to play perfect, but it's going to be very important for the 49ers defense to slow down the Packers in the first half. Because if they're able to have the rushing attack with Elijah Mitchell and Deebo Samuel, anything's possible. Because if you keep Aaron Rodgers off the field and you're able to attack this pretty poor defensive front just in general. Like you mentioned, they give the second most yards per carry. From there, Jimmy G just has to be Jimmy G. Play well play well off play action. Hit George Kittle, Ayuk, Debo, all of these guys.
And Jawan Jennings. I told you about him.
He's nice.
He made some great plays. I told you. He's good, man. I like Jawan Jennings.
He did. The Niners and Packers played earlier this season. It's not really fair to look at it because Trey Sermon was the leading rusher. Elijah Mitchell was either injured or just didn't really come into his own until later in the season. And the Packers and the 49ers, they made an interesting game. You know, the Packers were up 17 at one point, but the Niners were able to come back. They scored in the last couple minutes of the game, but Rodgers does what he does. He came back, led a game-winning drive. Mason Crosby hit a 50-yard field goal, and they won the game. It was interesting in that game because the Packers were missing both Elton Jenkins and David Bakhtiari. So Nick Bosa was having a field day against the left side of that offensive line.
You said Elton Jenkins?
Jenkins, yeah, left guard.
He's not going to play, though.
Yeah, just in general. I'm not sure who their backup was at that point. But Bakhtiari obviously coming in this game is going to be huge for them. Rodgers in that game had his quickest time to throw in his career. So their game plan was, we're just going to get the ball out. We're not going to let Nick Bosa beat us, even though he had 5 pressures. He had a sack. He played a really good game. Devontae Adams was ridiculous. 12 catches, 130 yards, and a touchdown. Targeted on 56% of his routes, highest of his career. So they just said, we're going to feed Tay. You can't stop him. They weren't. I don't trust them to stop him this week again. I've seen too many years of Devontae Adams being excellent that I don't trust anybody to stop him, even if it is Jalen Ramsey. But I'm looking at this game.
Ooh, Ramsey's not stopping him?
He'll contain him, but no, he'll still go for at least 80.
That's very fair. At least 80.
Yeah. And Ramsey's also not going to shadow him every play.
I think he might.
I don't think he will.
We're talking about a matchup that's not happening.
I know.
But it's going to happen.
It could. It definitely could. But when I look at this game, like I mentioned, Elijah Mitchell is going to be in. Jimmy G has been a lot better the second half of the season as he was all the way down in back 3. If you're the 49ers, you have to figure out some way to slow down Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. I mean, that's the story basically about every team was going to play the Packers. How are you going to stop arguably the best quarterback and the best wide receiver in the game? In the first matchup, they weren't able to. I really don't see where they do it in this matchup. And if you're the Packers, it's pretty simple. If you're able to pressure Jimmy Garoppolo, force him into throws he doesn't want to make, you'll win this game. When Jimmy G throws interception, they're 2-6. When he doesn't, they're 7-0. So for the 49ers, protect the ball, somehow get pressure on Rodgers, even though he has one of the quickest time to throws in the league with some of the best weapons in the league. A couple things I do want to mention. Number one is weather. In their 4 previous matchups, it never got colder than 58 degrees. This matchup has a low of 3. It's going to be freezing. Green Bay's used to that. San Fran does play in some inclement weather, but Green Bay is definitely have the home field advantage here. It never getting lower than 58 is crazy, so it's going to be a big change from their previous matchups. You guys mentioned the injuries. Jimmy G with a shoulder and a thumb injury. It was interesting because the line opened at, I want to say, like 4.5, and then it jumped to 6 once the injury report came out. So there might be a little bit more than just a shoulder injury that Jimmy G is going to be able to play through. And then the Packers right now are just getting healthy at the right time, while the 49ers aren't. Nick Bosa also in concussion protocol. Packers are the healthier team. They have the better quarterback. They have the better overall team. I do think it's going to be close, but I have them winning 24-20.
I think the score is going to be 33-28. I will say this. Aaron Rodgers has to have a perfect game. If he doesn't, they will lose.
Yes, it seems like it's a perfect game every game.
That's why I'm not worried.
I know. That's why I'm not too worried either, but I'm just saying, like, I think he throws one interception, they lose the game. Like that's how thin of a margin of error I think it's going to be for the Packers. This just isn't a good matchup for them. It's as simple as that. It's not a good matchup. Nobody wants to face the Niners. Nobody, not the Rams. They already beat them. Not the Bucks. Not the Packers. Everybody's scared of the Niners.
Rams aren't scared.
I don't think the Packers care.
No, not at all. I'm telling you, Packers are about to wax them.
Yeah, I think the Packers do care. I think they're over there. They're pretty scared.
I don't think any of these matches are great for the Packers, but I think they'll be like, fuck it, we'll play anyone. We have Rodgers.
It's a fact.
I mean, I guess you're right to a degree. I have the Packers in this one.
Yeah, so we're all on the Packers. Oh, you picked the Bengals. Okay, never mind.
I picked the Bengals, yeah. So this is going to be a tough one. It's going to be very tough.
Sorry, just going to love that.